Hello. So we're gonna be finishing out the guide on how to position as a support. It's been a while since I recorded one of these, but so this map is actually getting a rework next patch. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's probably just gonna be the same thing. So again, don't worry about it too much. So Stonekeep is interesting because there's sort of like Splitstone. There's two real ways to play it. Your team's either gonna take the high ground. Our team's going to take the low ground, right? So they can take Keep, which is the high ground, our Church, which is the... Yeah, Keep is the high ground, and then Church is the low ground. So one thing you can do if you're a support, you can get dismounts on this angle, which is cool. I just got to be careful for people coming around. So once you do get dismounts, let's say your team wants to take high ground, just walk up to high ground or move over in some way, right? If your team is trying to take high ground, again, I just wouldn't stand in the open. If this is a contested... Right, both teams are trying to take high ground. Then your main goal is going to be to, keep them alive, support people, right? Whoever has control over this little top bit is probably going to win the fight, so most of your resources are going to be going into whoever's trying to contest that area. Again, just don't stand in the open, right? These corners, right? If they have like a blaster, you might want to stand a bit farther back. And if they have a flank, playing near this door is pretty good because you get to, see if they're coming around or not. If there's like some sort of fight going on in here, like you can take this angle. This is a nice angle for like Grover in particular. Let's say this isn't contested though. Let's say your team gets high ground for free and the other team is playing low ground. Then it kind of depends where your DPS play. There's a few good options for you, right? Here's an okay corner if there's not anything too aggressive. You could play down here. Again, don't stand in the open. Use like cover and stuff. I wouldn't ever try to peek this angle. It's really spooky, and most of the time we'll end up with you being dead. So don't do that. So yeah, most of the time you're just gonna be playing either on low ground here, on the high ground here. If they have some sort of flank, or even if they don't even have a flank, you probably just want to. Let's say you're probably gonna have like some sort of like a Cassie or something, right? Like if you're a Dombo and then you have a Cassie and then Cassie's like peeking this angle, because like this is a good angle for DPS. Then, you can either stick a bit behind her, or you can play here, or you can play right behind here, so you can still have the LOS on point. Just make sure that you're not playing too hard in main, and that you're not peeking this angle up here, and make sure that you're using cover. That's really it. It's not too complicated. If your DPS like push all the way around, it's the same side on this side of the map, right? Just use corners. All that fun stuff. This is usually going to be a really safe spot though, if your team has full control of Keep, because you kind of get to see everything. Next patch, you won't be able to heal through these stairs, so it might be a bit worse. It might be a bit better for you to play on high ground maybe, and, like drop if you need to. Use this corner. You might have to do a bit more rotating, right? But overall, this sort of area inside, not peeking too much, unless you really want to poke out things for some reason, is going to be the way to go. So if your team doesn't have high ground, well, it kind of depends, right? Because in scrims, right, sometimes you have like a tank there, so it's okay for you to play back here. Let's say you have like a sniper here, right? Have a sniper, you hold hands with the sniper, you can steal a heal point from here. All that fun stuff. That doesn't happen too often. So usually you're going to be playing like either this corner, just like, you're going to be playing inside here. Biggest thing is that you have to watch out for all the areas that they can shoot you from, right? There's a lot. So be very careful about peeking this. If you ever walk out of this door right past this line, you probably should die. So don't do that. Again, play in your corners, be ready to back up, all this fun stuff. If you need to cross from one side to the other, try to cross like maybe behind, right? Depends how spooky you think it is, right? If the other team is like Xin and like Tyra, it might be a bit safer than if they had like a, Leon and a Kinessa or something. Then you're probably taking high ground anyways against those two, so. Yeah, it's not too complicated, right? Like, it's wherever your DPS go. This door is really safe. You can sort of like wall jump and heal point, right? Which is pretty cool. So, that's not bad. But overall, yeah, it's not too complicated. The main mistake that I see people do on this map is just go down main. Like, please do not stand here. This is in the open of everything. If you start getting shot, you have to like, walk back behind the corner, versus if you're playing here, It's like, look how much quicker that is to just like get around like somewhere that's actually safe, right? So get out of main, don't play on these stairs. Playing here is okay, because like you can sort of LOS things, but not all the way. They can still see your head, so you know, hitboxes in this game. So try to avoid here, try to play inside if you have to. That's really it for the mid fights though. Like, you're gonna be following your DPS most of the time, and as long as you're playing inside, either keep or in church, and sticking with your DPS, then you're probably fine. So that's really it. There's actually only one choke on this map, so let's talk about defense, right? If you're defending on this map, it's really simple. You're either holding, you're just holding spawn doors. Like that's it. There should be no reason for you to push out your spawn door, unless you're playing like Grover, in which case, yeah, God, Grover's great on this map, but he sucks in the defense. Actually, I probably can't talk about Grover too much, because what they're doing for next patch, and I don't know if this will be live when I release this, so this might be leaks actually. They are moving these stairs. This is gonna be like a sheer drop now. They're just cutting out the stairs and they're like moving them right here, or something along those lines, right? I'm not entirely sure. So the choke is probably still gonna work the same, which is why I'm fine talking about it. So if your Grover is a bit weird, if you're like any other DPS, just play in spawn. Make sure you're not wide peeking, right? Snipers are spooky. So you want to be either using the statue or these boxes. I personally really like these boxes because poking out fire like this is really safe. It gives you, you know, these boxes to play with. You can still heal everywhere that's important. You can push up here if you need to heal people down there if you really want to. But mostly being able to contest people who are in there. Like if you're Genos and you're just shooting down here, this is really good. Because you always have the option to back up. You have this really safe way to get into spawn. So it's pretty cool. On the push, so again, you're the support, right? You're gonna start, and you're gonna push the cart, and you're gonna push it up here. And then there's probably gonna be a fight happening when the cart gets like here, just based off when the other team respawns. So it comes down to like a judgment call. If you think your team needs you to win the fight, then yeah, leave cart and go help win the fight. But if you're like a Genos or something, yeah, or a Corvus, or something that doesn't need LOS, then yeah, you can stay on cart. But if you're not, like if you're like a Damba, for example, it's a good idea to let your main tank take point and then rotate up to high ground. Because usually you'll have like two people up here who are taking some sort of fight. And if you're behind them, this high ground is the important part of the map, right? Ideally, you want to be playing on high ground here. If you're playing down here, you can't heal the people on high ground super well, right? If they ever get forced out behind that wall over there, then you're kind of done for. You can get pushed out super easily, like a flank. You can get forced down there, and you'll be like forced to drop down here, and then this is weird, and they have to like do a dance down here and try to. It's not fun. Main is like the worst of both worlds. You can't heal the people on high ground. You can't really heal the people who are taking this sort of angle super well, right? You're gonna get shot by their DPS. And that's really your three options, unless you want to like try to take Garden, which I guess is gonna be some stairs next patch. So this might not be the worst thing. If your team is pushing up the stairs on this side, that are going to be here next patch, that's probably fine. Probably, again, like, I don't know it for sure, right? Because I have never played on the new Stonekeep. I haven't even seen it. I just know that there's stairs over here. But, like, hopefully by now I've repeated myself enough to the point where you guys can, like, okay, figure out that, okay, following the team is good. Peeking really bad, like, really, really wide peeking is bad, right? So you can sort of, like, you know, I don't want to say like, figure it out for yourself. Like, this is supposed to be a guide, but this is like the one situation where I'll say, okay, you can, you know, probably figure it out. Because I should be releasing these in series, so unless you just skipped ahead to the Stonekeep video, then you probably heard me say don't wide peek and follow your DPS like a bajillion times. So you get the idea. But in general, on this map, you're going to be taking the high ground, and you're going to be playing like these corners and all this fun stuff. And that's really it. Stonekeep is really simple. Like, there's a lot of fancy rotations you can do. Like, if you have a DPS respawn to high ground and you're Corvus, yeah, you can like throw a knife up here and go help them or something. Same with like Grover Vine. Like, there's a lot of like rotating you can do, and you'll be, if the fight ever breaks down, you will be moving around a lot. But it's just like, you should always really just be moving between the safe spots, right? Like, these corners on high ground. That corner back there, the inside of church, on the high ground. Remember, never peek heaven. Never peek heaven. This is always like this is a surefire way to die. So, and even if you don't die, then you'll probably get poked out, have to use like your heal on yourself, and it's just a bad time. So, yeah, in general, pretty straightforward map. So, just to recap, either inside keep or inside church, use corners. On the push, pushing mid is fine, but you want to eventually rotate up to the high ground and fight up and fight the help with the fight up here. If you're defending, it's pretty straightforward. You're just sticking in your spawn, using the sort of cover that's going to be up here. There's going to be like a new wall up here next patch as well, and just sort of like trying to poke out DPS while healing your team and just staying safe. Right? You have the invincible spawn door. If you get picked, it's really rough. So just playing safe, healing your team, using cover. That's really it. Stonekeep is pretty straightforward. It's a fun map, right? Like there is a lot of cover for you to work with. There's a lot of options. But yeah, overall, not the most complicated. So I think that's about it for this map. I got like Timbermill to record next. I'm gonna suffer. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna record Timbermill because Timbermill's getting pretty big reworks. Like there's new stuff, right? So I don't think we'll be doing Timbermill, but I think it's like Shattered or something next. Which, oh god, Shattered sucks. Anyhow, see you guys in that one.